self-development. It's gross. It's really messy. Everything that I've learned in order to get to this point, the reason that I became so infatuated with the light and figuring out what life is because I wanted to really explore the depth of my darkness, how I'm making mistakes continually, not being who I believe that I should be or that I could be, and falling short of that mark every single day. And the process of it is just so gross, like constantly having to fill this void and suffer and not be better because you're at exactly where you're at right now. My life is a joke. It's a comedy. It's a tragedy. It's a horror. Science fiction. It is life. And sometimes I think to myself, like, what if I started posting videos where I was just showing people, like, me. I'm wearing a shirt with a ketchup stain on it somewhere. Can't even get the ketchup stain in my video. Got a ketchup stain on my pants because I'm uncoordinated with food. You know, sometimes that happens. And what does it mean to me if I put myself out there and I was messy and I was ugly and the whole world was like, wow, you're a bald, ugly mess of a person and I'm glad that I'm not you? Well, maybe then people would have a better understanding of who they are based off of watching me in my videos. Because I find it really ironic how I've done all this research into metaphysics, philosophy, religion, and to have even less of a sense of what reality is than ever before. So many more questions than answers. And to be someone who aspires to be a life coach, how is that supposed to work if I'm confused and I have no idea what's going on here? And what's the point? Like, if I'm not even able to make sense of this, where am I supposed to lead other people to? And in realizing that I used to think that I was someone, and I still think that I am someone, but there's people who have less integrative frameworks of understanding, that they're misaligned with false beliefs. Qualities that you're assigning to yourself that aren't really true. Qualities that you're not assigning to yourself that are true. And getting to a place where you understand how valuable you are as a person. Because the whole point here is to evaluate what works and what doesn't work. And when you put that out there and you say, like, yo, this is really what I'm doing and this is what's not working, and you allow yourself to be free of true judgment or condemnation, and it doesn't matter what anybody else is saying about what you have to do, because you have to do what you have to do. You have to do it with love. Otherwise, it's misaligned. Our self-concept, who we believe ourselves to be, is such a small portion of the full truth of what we are. And as we continue to understand who we truly are, we realize who we're not. And we start making these comparisons as to, I am this and I am not that, when you're really the observation of all of it. And I wind up understanding less about the fictional self-concept, who I'm describing myself to be, who I'm falling short of the mark of being, who I'm not living up to the potential of, who I'm surpassing the potential of other people. And it's all this illusory system of values that we're applying to these formscapes and making these judgments upon them when they just exist in the fabric of this dimension, which is so infinitesimally small and minute. And as I look into this void of nothing and such a lack of meaning, it's amazing, because getting to apply meaning to it and realizing where it sucks. And where it sucks repeatedly is where I'm now taking the time to focus on and being like, well, if it sucks repeatedly, then this deserves my attention, because why not try to make it better if it's only worse in my imagination? How helpful is it that I feel as though my expertise is in being knowledgeable about being unknowledgeable, that I have no idea of what's happening? It is so absurd, and I can't even start to describe how this is working. And there's other people who assume that they have the answers to get to a comprehensive framework to describe what's happening here, when it is so much smaller than what it is. And I find that frustrating, how through empiricism and logic, our own shortcomings are so vastly apparent that why would anyone be able to describe it better? And taking all the frameworks of different people who have already done this and gone over this so many times, and I'm going over it so many more, and it just makes less and less sense. And in getting people to understand why it makes less and less sense is really my goal as a coach, to say, right, what if you let life tear you apart? What if you let it fuck you up? What if it was tearing you to shreds and you're just left with the aftermath? Well, that's when it gets real.